Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going to go over how to properly spike store-bought eggnog. Alright, so just to cover eggnogs in general, you can certainly go to your liquor store or wherever you buy your alcohol and buy pre-mixed eggnogs that are already proofed with alcohol. Many of them have brandies, rums. Some of them have whiskeys in them. These are all good, and they're not very expensive. I mean, most of these cost around $10, give or take. There might be a few that are a little more expensive than that, but they're pretty cheap. But they're generally not awesome, these are a couple I've had before. This Evan Williams, it is some good stuff, and this definitely does have some whiskey in it. So this is not a bad pickup if you're in a pinch. Obviously, you can make your own eggnog. You can buy your heavy cream and milk and eggs and all that stuff, and separate everything, cook everything, blend it all together and all that, and probably some of the best eggnog I've ever had is eggnog I've made myself, but that's a time-consuming process, and it's not cheap to buy all those ingredients. So what I'm going to be covering today is store-bought eggnog. So this stuff is generally cheap. There's a lot of varieties out there. You can go to your local grocery store, find one you like. They should have several different brands to choose from. Find one you like. And this stuff's cheap. I mean, a half gallon is usually, no more than $3 or $4. And, you can take it home and you can put your own alcohol in it. And if anybody's like me, I've tried that before many times over the years and have made some bad eggnog concoctions. So, what I'm going to do today is go over how to properly get your ratios right with your alcohol in your eggnog. And I mean, after all, this really is like a cocktail. And cocktails, the best cocktails are all about proper proportions and all that. So you don't want to mix a really high proof bourbon. Just pour like half a glass of high proof bourbon and half a glass of eggnog and mix them together and drink that. It just won't be very good. I've done that. Don't recommend it. All right, so I'm going to go over what I think is a better way to mix some alcohol into your store-bought eggnogs and come up with a very tasty, delicious eggnog drink for the holidays. All right, so some of the best liquors to mix in your eggnog are going to be your rums, your brandies or cognacs, and a good bourbon whiskey. Honestly, if you only have one of these, I would probably start with the rum. If you've got two of these, rum and cognac or rum and whiskey is the way to go. I'm going to go with all three today, but I'm going to be a little heavier proportion on the rum and about half as much of both the cognac and bourbon whiskey. So now you can certainly mix these in a glass as you go, but what I'm going to recommend is if you've got a half gallon of eggnog, that's 64 ounces. And like I say, this is a cocktail, so it's all about proportions. So what you're looking at, you're going to be looking at, for every 5 ounces of eggnog, you want 1 to 1.5 ounces of liquor. You want somewhere in that 15 to 20% alcohol range. What's going to be, your 30 to 40 proof is what you're looking for. So what I'm going to recommend doing is we're going to mix enough for this whole half gallon. The first few pours out of this, first few drinks you make, you can just mix those part of the glass. But once you get your container down to a low enough level, you can just pour it all in there and mix it up and let it sit in the fridge and mix. And it's actually better after a couple of days. But so where I'm going to go with this, I'm going to start with the rum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix 16 ounces of alcohol here. So I'm going to make that 8 ounces of rum, and then I'll do 4 ounces of both cognac and bourbon. So let me get these poured. All right, so there's our rum. We'll go with the cognac, 4 ounces of cognac. And 4 ounces of bourbon whiskey. So you don't really want to use a high proof bourbon on this. You know, you might not have any 80 proofs around. You know, this particular one, Woodford Reserve, comes in at a little over 90 proof, which is perfect. You know, 100 proof would be fine. I'll buy one bond. But, you know, you don't need a cask strength or anything like that. It's going to throw your proportions off and all that. I mean, your rums and your cognacs are almost all going to be 80 proof. So, you know, a good 80 or 90 proof bourbon is what you're looking for. If you do have a much higher proof whiskey, that's fine, but you might want to just reduce its ratio by a slight amount. So, all right, got this poured, got this in the jar. I'm going to mix this up, and we'll pour this into our eggnogs as we make them. Now, like I say, the first few out of your jug or container or carton, whatever you have, is gonna, you know, come out of this. You know, so after about 3 drinks of eggnog with the ratio I talked about 5 ounces of eggnog and 1.5 ounces of our mixture here. You know, then you can pour the rest of it into the carton and let it meld with that eggnog and enjoy it over the rest of your holiday week. So, all right. So, got my glass here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pour my alcohol in here first. So, I'm gonna go with 1.5 ounces of my liquors. A little bit of a mess there. And I'm going to go with 5 ounces of the nog. You know, this particular eggnog I have here is actually a cinnamon forward eggnog, so it's heavily cinnamon. You're certainly welcome to spice up any eggnog you get with extra spices. Cinnamon and nutmeg are the primary ones you're looking for. So grated nutmeg on top is great to use. All right. So yeah, you're welcome to mix that up in a shaker if you want to. You can pour it over ice. You can have ice in here if you want. If your eggnog's already cold, it's not really necessary. I just gave it a real good stir, and I'll give it a taste. Cheers. Delicious, yeah. So, you know, the alcohol is not forward on this. It's very subtle. It's there. You know, the rum mellows it out. The cognac and the whiskey, you know, give it some extra flavors there. Yeah. If you have a eggnog you like already, this will just amp it up and make it that much better. So the proof's not gonna overpower you, but it will sneak up on you. Like I say, this is going to be in that you know, somewhere between that 30 and 40 proof range. Very nice, delicious, you know, holiday eggnog to sip on. All right, I hope you liked what you saw here. If you did, hit that like button. If you have some of your own recipes, feel free to share them in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of this. If you try it, you know, love to hear from you. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed to me already. If you've watched my channel before, welcome back. If you've never seen it before, welcome. But definitely, if you liked what you saw here and you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Cheers, everybody. Remember, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon, and the best bourbon comes from Kentucky.